Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Idioms Explained podcast. This is Season 2, Episode 13 on Learn English by English. I'm your host, Emily.
And I'm Alex. Great to be with you. Emily, before we dive into today's idiom about avoiding trouble, let's wake up the answer to the What's Alex's Idiom challenge from S2E13.
Let's do it. Last episode, Alex, you described a manager praising a colleague for a perfect presentation, saying she understood the client's needs perfectly and addressed all concerns accurately.
I did indeed. And we asked our listeners which idiom from Season 1 best described that idea of being exactly right or understanding something perfectly. The correct idiom was to hit the nail on the head.
To hit the nail on the head, meaning to be precisely correct or to do or say something exactly right. Excellent work, everyone who guessed that. You can find that idiom in Episode 7 of Season 1.
Fantastic job. Now, Emily, what idiom are we discussing today that advises us to leave things undisturbed to avoid problems?
Today, Alex, we're looking at a very wise and cautionary idiom, to let sleeping dogs lie.
To let sleeping dogs lie. That's a classic piece of advice. It means to avoid interfering in a situation that is currently calm but might become problematic if you meddle with it, or to not bring up an old issue that could cause trouble if revisited, right?
Precisely. It's about choosing not to disturb a situation because doing so might provoke trouble or cause an argument. For example, I know you're angry about what he said last year, but it's probably best to let sleeping dogs lie and not bring it up again.
It's good advice for maintaining peace, even if something isn't perfectly resolved. What's the origin of this phrase, Emily? It paints a very clear picture.
The imagery is indeed very effective, Alex. The idea of not disturbing a sleeping dog because it might wake up and bite you is quite old. A similar sentiment can be found in Geoffrey Chaucer's work in the 14th century, and the proverb in its more modern form has been around for centuries.
A sleeping dog is harmless, but a disturbed one can be dangerous.
That makes perfect sense. So it's about recognizing that some situations are best left alone to avoid reigniting conflict or creating new problems. For example, the company made a mistake in the accounts last year, but it was fixed and no one noticed. They decided to let sleeping dogs lie rather than draw attention to it now.
Exactly. Or if two friends had a big argument in the past but are now getting along, a third friend might advise them to let sleeping dogs lie instead of reanalyzing what went wrong.
It's about exercising discretion and choosing your battles, so to speak. It doesn't mean ignoring all problems, but rather being wise about which ones are best left undisturbed if they are currently dormant.
Well said. It implies that the potential trouble from stirring things up outweighs the benefit of addressing it. So, to summarize for our listeners, to let sleeping dogs lie means to warn someone to avoid stirring up trouble or to leave a situation as it is to avoid problems.
Excellent advice wrapped in a memorable idiom, Emily. Now are our listeners ready to not let the sleeping dogs of confusion lie, but to actively guess today's What's Alex's Idiom challenge from Season 1?
I'm sure they're ready to tackle it head on. What's the scenario today, Alex?
All right, here is today's challenge.
My city council was discussing building a new public park. Some people wanted a very simple park with just grass and trees. Other people wanted a fancy park with many fountains, statues, and cafes. They couldn't agree. Finally, they decided on a design that had some nice features, but was also quite natural and simple. It was a good solution that pleased both groups.
Which idiom from Season 1 best describes this solution that combined the advantages of two different approaches? A compromise that offers benefits from different ideas. Listeners, what do you think? Which Season 1 idiom describes getting the advantages of two different things at the same time? Get your answers into the comments.
We're looking forward to seeing your balanced and insightful guesses. And that's our time for this episode.
Thanks for joining us for Season 2, Episode 13 of Idioms Explained podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to Learn English by English and hit that notification bell. We appreciate you letting us not lie sleeping in your subscription feed.
Exactly. Your continued support is fantastic. Until next time, everyone, keep learning.
Bye for now.